Last time on the web... Actually, wait, no, it wasn't last time. It was quite a long time ago. Quite a long time ago on the Webby87 channel, I did this video where I spent a very long time trying to beat one of Jan Otmi's lap times from his fancy esports series, whatever. I'm sure it's a trash league anyway. Not as good as this league, which I do. You should go check that out, by the way. But yeah, so last time I spent ages trying to beat Jan Otmi's time, and guess what? I actually did it in the end. It only took about 8 hours, but I did do it to prove that I am better than all of these esports players, whatever they call themselves. So yeah, but now it is time to take this to a whole new level. I'm going to try and prove I'm better than the real F1 drivers. I've gone onto YouTube, I've found a video by Oracle Red Bull Racing. It is Max Verstappen doing a virtual lap of the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. And in that he got a 1:16.08. So yeah, he seems like quite a good F1 2021 player. Maybe he should like try some real racing or something. But yeah, anyway, so I've checked my current trial time, and my best right now is a 1:17.0, about a second behind this this guy on YouTube. I can't remember his name. Max Verstappen. Oh, okay, yeah, him. So I'm going to try and do the impossible. I'm going to try and beat this time to prove that not only am I better than all the esports players, I'm better than all the real F1 drivers. Let's do this. I believe my current time isn't a very good one, so I'm going to see if I can beat my current time. I'm not going to go full try-hard practicing now. I just want to get a benchmark, you know, just to see how slower I am than Max Verstappen. Such a shame that this has to be Spain for this to work, because I'm not a fan of this track. I don't really think anyone is, to be honest.
A few moments later.
Oh, yep, suck your mum. And just like that, the pain had begun in Spain. Was I going to beat Max's lap, or was there still going to be a gap? Wow, I'm a poet, and I didn't even know I was rhyming those words. But yes, I began invalidating laps. I began spinning left, right and centre. It wasn't a great start. I hadn't even properly got into the swing of trying to beat the time. I was literally just trying to get a quick benchmarker, and it was proving to be quite difficult until it finally happened. I actually managed to improve by quite a bit. Oh my god, okay, well I finally actually did a lap where I didn't invalidate. Took me quite a few attempts, but we got there and we improved by about 3 attempts already, and that isn't really me like fully getting into the flow and trying to beat it. That was me just setting a benchmark really. So I'm now about six attempts off this YouTube guy's pace, and I've still got traction control on, haven't got a new setup yet. There's hope, there's definitely hope, and I've got about a week to do this, maybe like 6 days. And also I don't go outside, I don't touch grass, so I can spend as much time as I want doing this. That was a joke, by the way. I definitely go outside, and yes. But yeah, not a bad start, I'll take that. The next day I returned to try and up my level a little bit. I switched traction control from medium to fully off, and then I got a new setup from this guy on YouTube, who is a very quick controller player who you should definitely check out and get him to 100 subs, because why not. I then went into a few more laps, and in classic me style I actually did a personal best and forgot to save the clip, so my best is now 16.557, and as you can see here I almost got another personal best, but I absolutely bottled it again on the final chicane. However, luckily for myself, just a few laps later I was on another very quick lap and didn't quite bottle it as much in the final chicane, meaning I would still gain by just over 2 tenths of a second to now take me even closer to the time I'm looking for. Just a few attempts to go now. A few laps later, many spins later, many invalidations later, I was on another very quick lap, and I had a very good final sector actually, which brought me even closer to the time once again, as I was now just less than 3 tenths of the time, which was very promising at the time. So I didn't play for the next few days, but I returned to try and complete it once and for all, and I was wondering what would be the quickest way to try and learn the track, learn all the braking zones, you know, where I can get the throttle on as quickly as possible, stuff like that. So I decided to go into a full 66 lap race. Wow, I don't know why I did that. And as you can see here, I think that was actually my first ever start with traction control fully off, which is definitely not what I was used to. I was obviously just trying to find the limit in this race with pretty much every corner. So understandably, I had a lot of spins, and including this time where I very nearly spun, but luckily Fernando Alonso, the kind guy he is, he stopped me from spinning before he then spun around himself and actually ended up causing a safety car. So thanks, Fernando. I had a lot of overtaking to do as I did spin and lose a lot of time, which was quite good, I thought, because I think it is one thing to, you know, practice a corner or whatever, but one thing to also do it whilst racing with other cars, as it's sort of harder to concentrate, and I think it's just quite good. But here, Ricardo, I don't know what he was doing. At turn 9, I think that is, my car was fully ahead, and what does Ricardo do? He tries to send it on my car. Look at Ricardo's onboard. Look at my car is fully ahead, and what does he do? He sends it, and somehow that spins me. What, Ricardo? What are you doing? I could not believe it. Like, these AI, they just never dive bomb unless it's the absolute worst time to dive bomb, and there's no opportunity. Anyway, rant over. On lap 32, I actually did get a bit bored of just doing laps of a race where, you know, obviously my time couldn't actually be competitive with Max Verstappen's time. So on lap 32, I decided to take some of my anger out on Vettel, but most of my anger out on Yuki Tsunoda, and I quit the game to return to time trials. Would doing all of those consecutive laps make me a lot quicker? It should do. I felt so much quicker during the race, and it was now time for me to see if I could convert that pace into some time trial pace. Now, in fact, in the last video, a lot of people were saying I didn't even use ERS or whatever in time trials. I don't know if it automatically deploys it or if it doesn't use any. Either way, there is no way to actually manually use it, so if you're wondering again, then that's why. As you can see, I had an okay turn 1 and turn 2. A little bit down on the delta, but I made some of that back up. And that's not a bad start to a lap, actually, I would say. I think a lot of my time was in the middle and the final sector, so even if I was down after sector 1, I still wasn't feeling too bad. But it was looking good, I was definitely a lot more confident on the throttle, although I did lose a bit of time there. This corner was a very tricky one, but I gained a bit on entry, but lost even more on exit. But it was looking good though. The race has proved to be making me... yeah, that sums it up, to be honest. But just the next lap, I was down on my delta when I had a few very good turns. And then all of a sudden, what does it do? It makes the delta go green. Look at that, I'm over a tenth up. I did struggle with the final few corners, so I lost quite a lot of that time, as you can see. But look at that, we are still green, and we're going to improve by a bit under a tenth to take our time to a 1:16.263. Getting even closer now, less than 2 tenths. It's looking good, it's looking very good. And would you look at that, just 2 laps later, I'm again very up on my delta, just by over a tenth and a half. But unfortunately, the last few corners were proving very difficult for me, and I lost a lot of this time, which made me very sad at the time. But look at that, I was still up on the delta, once again by under a tenth, a bit closer to half a tenth. But that's going to take my time now to a 1:16.207. Getting closer, getting slowly closer. So the problem I was having, and it was something that I had last time when I was at Austria, is I was having a problem with almost my nerves. When I'd get to the end of a lap and I could see that I was off my delta, for some reason I'd get really nervous. I think it was because by this point it was about 2 days before this video was getting uploaded. So I'd left it a little bit late, and the pressure was on, and it meant that through this chicane I really struggled. If you've ever played on controller with traction off whilst your fingers are violently shaking, you'll know that it's not easy to get the power on. And as you can see there, I've really struggled, and I actually ended up invalidating, and I drove into the wall out of frustration. By this point, it was getting very late on the Friday night, and I'd said to myself before doing this to try and avoid what happened last time, that when it gets to a certain time, no matter what, whether I've beaten the time or not, I will stop playing to try and avoid all the stress and pain of last time. So yeah, that meant that it got to a point where it got to the time where I decided to stop playing, and I still hadn't beaten the time. I was still quite far off by about a tenth and a little bit. So yeah, that was it. I failed. I couldn't beat the time, and it was very sad. It was a very sad moment for me. Yeah. I'm just joking. Of course I beat the time. Of course, I would not be uploading this video. I don't know what I would do actually if I hadn't beaten it. But yeah, I don't know. We're here. Look at this time. I'm so far up on the Delta. Well, not actually that far up, but I carried a lot more confidence and speed through the final corners. Look at that. I was actually on the throttle a lot quicker than I had been before, and I'm up by over a tenth on the Delta. Is it going to be enough to beat the time? Yes, it is. Let's go. I actually did it. Oh my god. I got a 1:16.047. So I beat it by maths. Something. Yeah, I'm not sure what. Yeah, I was very happy at the time. I am aware that for a lot of people this lap time is probably average or bad or something like that. I don't really know, to be honest. But for me personally, I'm actually very happy with the lap time that I got, and I know it must have been good given, or for my standards anyway, given how long it took me to get 110 laps it took. Comment down below if you have a lap time better than this, and if you do, then fair play to you, because you are clearly very quick. But this is about me being not only better than all of the F1 esports drivers, but all of the real F1 drivers. And this is obviously conclusive proof, as I beat the man that just won the most recent F1 championship. So yeah, that settles it. The debate is over. If you're still watching up until this point, then thank you for being an absolute legend. But I just checked my analytics, and guess what? Only 3.9% of you are subscribed, which is actually great, by the way. So thank you to those 3.9% of people. But we can make that number even bigger. So why don't you just scroll down and just hit that red button, and it would make me very happy. So thank you if you do that. I appreciate that. But other than that, I don't think I have anything else to waffle on about. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.